Hi, you guys. It's Sophia Dashing here. If this is your first time seeing me, hi, nice to meet you. Um, it's 2024, and I've really asked myself, what is the content I want to be making? And the first thing that came to mind was, first of all, you guys don't know how I got started in the music industry. If you don't know, I'm an independent artist, and oh my gosh, Chloe. And I've been releasing music for almost 3 years. This May will be 3 years, which I cannot believe it. And it has been a journey. And I never talk about like the trials and tribulations that I've gone through as an independent artist, but that is about to change because we're about to get real. We're about to talk about everything. And I'm going to tell you guys how I got here, how this journey has been. And we're just going to start at the beginning. So let's just jump right into it. Let's go back to the basics. When I was a little girl, I loved to dance. That was literally my favorite thing to do in the whole entire world. And, I remember I would just go on YouTube and I would watch videos from like the Millennium Dance Complex and just how amazing all the dancers in LA were. And I would always be like, oh my gosh, I wish we had a dance studio like that in Atlanta. Like everywhere I kind of went as a little girl, I wasn't challenged enough, and I would watch the LA dancers on YouTube and I would literally just mimic them. Like I would sit at the computer and mimic them, and that's truly how I learned how to dance. And then I came across Dance 411 here in Atlanta. And I went to their summer camp, and that is when I got scouted and signed to Block South Agency when I was like, I think I was 9 or 10 maybe, and I did TV shows with them, I did print work, I did a lot of different stuff, but I just always kept up with the adults in any dance class I went into, and starting at that studio led me going to Gotta Dance Atlanta and just all of these different amazing dance studios, but I kind of just became like a little kid protege in these big adult classes. And that is where I got my dance training and kind of started the whole journey of me dancing and being a dancer in Atlanta, and just loving being in front of the camera. Life stuff happens, as it does to all of us. And, my parents got a divorce. I went through a lot of bullying at my school that I was going to. And one thing led to another, and I just kind of fell out of dance. I fell out of what I loved to do the most, which was perform, dance, and sing. And it took me several years to get back to that period and to get back to my purpose. That was hard. I think throughout that time, which I can talk more about that in other videos, I think through that time I was just so lost. And it's crazy because that's when I was really starting to write music. But through that period, I fell into fashion, and I was out of school. I was homeschooled just from how crazy the bullying was. And I was going to a fashion school here in Atlanta. And then fast forward, and my personality is very go big or go home. I've always been the girl where I'm like, if I want something, I'm going to go get it no matter what, no matter how impossible it may seem. And I wanted to succeed because at that time, I thought that I was going to pursue fashion fully. And I kind of was just shying away from what I really wanted to do in my heart, which is what I'm doing now. But yeah, so I told myself, you know what, we're going to move to Paris. We're going to do this. And everybody around me was like, you're crazy. But I was like, nope, I got this. So I moved to Paris, guys. Fast forward. Let's just say things are going really wrong in my life while living in Paris, because that was the universe being like, get out, girl. So yeah, we're just going to fast forward through that because let's get to the music industry part. So basically COVID happens, and guys, I'm happy to talk about me living in Paris in another video because I have many stories to share. But anyway, so COVID-19 happens. We all remember that. We all remember how crazy it was. And with me being in Paris, I was scared, but I was also like ready to leave. But it was kind of like my golden ticket. I was like, this is my excuse, like I can leave, because deep down I was not happy, and my lease was, not expiring until several months down the line, and I didn't really want to stay there. I wasn't really happy in school. So as horrible as COVID was and how tragic and terrible it was, for me, it happening and all the barriers happening with like different countries, it was kind of my ticket to go home and be like, all right, let me reevaluate everything. So I get back to Atlanta, and I've like had so many conversations with people about, what COVID was for them, that kind of isolation period. And I think that time alone really forced me to like look at myself in the mirror and be like, what am I afraid of right now? Like, am I afraid of going after my dreams? And what is my family going to think of me for dropping out of school? You know, I was 19, or no, I was 18 at the time of all this. And it's like, as an 18-year-old, regardless of me like growing up really fast, like as an 18-year-old, you know, you kind of, society puts this pressure on you to go to school and go to college, and you know, that just wasn't for me. That life wasn't for me, going to college. So I had a lot of time to sit and reflect, and you know, what was I doing in that free time? I was singing, I was dancing, I was writing music. I was writing so much music, like, and I don't even think consciously I was like aware of it. I just would literally like sit and write music. If I was feeling some type of way, I would just go write a song. Like, it was just this natural, like, kind of sixth sense thing, like, or whatever you call it. Like, it was just natural and coming out of me. And you know, when I look back of me even living in Paris, like, there were so many signs from the universe, from God, that were like, you know, you are a performer, you know, that you're a singer, you're a writer, you're a dancer. And I just think sometimes, like, until, you know, you may not be ready, but the universe is like, here's this mirror, girl, like, this is what you loved when you were a little girl, and it's time to like get back to your roots. Because I think life can kind of steer you in a direction maybe that you don't know how to prepare yourself for, and through that you kind of lose yourself. And that's definitely what happened with me. And you know, I say all of this, and I'm literally like, I was so young in all of this, and it's like, you're supposed to not know what you're doing, but like, I just grew up so fast, and I've always been the type of girl that was like, oh, I'm gonna be out by 18, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. But it's like, life, you don't know how life's gonna go, you know. I was writing a lot of music, and one day, I don't know what clicked, just something clicked within me, and I was like, it finally hit me that I literally had like 200 songs that I had wrote, and I was like, am I just gonna keep building to this collection, or am I actually gonna do something about this? Because this is good material. And it's like, I am so hard on myself, and it's hard for me to be like, wow, good job, Soph. But there was so much material, and it was like, it's what I was doing naturally in my free time and what I love to do. So it was like, let's do something with this. Like, everything just connected and clicked. Unfortunately, with me connecting the dots in my brain, a part of me still like didn't want to believe that fully. So I went to another fashion school, but it was all virtual. So I was able to stay in Atlanta, but push came to shove, guys. And like, I would say the first semester in, I was out. I was done. And, you know, I would be on Zoom classes, and I'd be like looking up vocal coaches near me. I'd be like doing what I really wanted to do. So yeah, I dropped out, guys. I'm a college dropout. But it's fine, because I'm an artist, and that's who I am. That's my DNA. And, you know, I'm 22 now, and like, I look at everything I've accomplished in my music career, and it's like, I'm just so happy that I'm doing what I love. So yay for that. So I drop out of college, and, you know, for me, I'm like, okay, am I really going to do this? Like, and there were songs that I loved that I was writing, and I'm like, okay, what is going to be my first single? Like, how am I going to do this? So I first found a vocal coach, and shout out to my first vocal coach ever. His name is B. David Stevens. He is amazing, and he just taught me so much, because although I feel like I've always had a voice, there was so much technically that I had no idea about, because it just had been so many years of me really coming back into, you know, my truth. And I think with so many years away, there's also kind of a mental block a little bit too. Like, I had to come over with singing, and even like confidence with my dancing, everything. I kind of just had to go through some mental blockages. Basically, he changes my life, and we start this whole journey. And one day he said to me, do you want to go in the studio and like hear yourself in the studio and record a cover song? And I was like, oh my god, yeah. So we did, and I did a few covers. I filmed those covers, and, you know, I would post them and just kind of have like my friends and family and peers, whoever else, kind of see, all right, I'm merging lanes a little bit. Like, I'm not a fashion school girly anymore. I'm a singer, I'm a writer, I'm a dancer, so I would film these covers and post them, and just kind of start this whole journey. And I would say that's really where like all my artist development kind of started back up. Like I was back in dance classes, I was back in, like I said, vocal lessons, and just doing so much, like even at home, like, piano lessons, like just really like getting in touch again, learning everything. And when we went in to record the cover, I met all these different producers and engineers and people, and I recorded my cover. I was so nervous because that was my first time recording a cover in a studio, so I was super nervous. Like I didn't know the ins and outs of recording in a studio before. And yeah, I just met all these guys. They were super nice, and when I left the studio that day, the producer said to me, you need to come back in here and we need to like get some work. Like why don't you have any music out? Like what's going on? And I was like, oh my gosh, like I literally felt like I just won the lottery when he said that, because I had been waiting just to hear those words, like, come back, come to our studio and like, let's work on stuff. Like I was so happy to hear that. So I was like, oh my gosh, yes, I have so much material. And that was the beginning of everything. And at that time when he had said that, I knew that I wanted my first single to be High Priestess, which it was. And I'm really proud as a writer, first and foremost, that all of my songs were brought in by me, written by me. And it just feels really good because it's like diary entries almost. Like it's like little moments of my life that I'm just proud that we made something out of that. So yeah, and hindsight 2020, it's like very cool when I look back on my art, or if I'm ever in the car or in my bedroom like listening to my music, I'm like, oh my gosh, like I literally wrote this in my bedroom and now I'm dancing to it. So looking back, it's like so crazy, and the moral of the story is like, if you have a gut feeling that you love something but you're scared, or like you just don't even know how you're gonna get into it or fall into it, or you're worried about what people think, like follow your heart, and like you have all the answers inside of you. It's like why you're here. Like I fully believe we all have purposes and we're here for a reason, and I know this is my purpose. Like I can say that confidently now, and regardless of everything I've gone through in this industry so far, with me being an artist for 3 years, an independent artist, which that's a whole nother video and I'm happy to do, but through all the trials and tribulations, like I will get back up every time and be like, this is still my purpose. Like nothing's gonna make me give up from this. And if you have that one thing that you love so much but you're not able to do it because you feel like society, family, whatever, like zone in and just do it, and like you will thank yourself later. And it's very scary. Like it was very scary for me to do this, because even though I was 18, and like I know it can happen to anybody at any age, me at 18, I was so scared because of the situation I was in at the time with my family and them expecting certain things out of me. Like I had a lot of fear, but in my heart, like I knew that this was my purpose. So that was really the beginning of everything. I did several songs with those producers, and then I moved on and met other producers, and I'm really lucky to be in Atlanta and to be from here and have it be such an entertainment staple and capital. And there's so many talented musicians here that I've met and worked with and that I love. So that's been great, and there's been like a huge sea of people to work with for me, so that's been awesome. But yeah, so that's how I got here. Okay, so all the ins and outs, that's a whole nother video, and I'm happy to do that. Definitely comment below, guys, if you guys want to see anything from me. I'm happy to talk about anything, with being an independent artist. Veil off, curtains down, like I'm an open book. So I'm really happy and excited to be doing these types of videos again. It brings me so much joy, and happy 2024. I am excited because my new single's coming out very soon, and I've already said the name on my Instagram. It's called Does Love Have to Be This Way, and I just can't wait. So excited. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Let me know what you guys want to see next, and I love you all. Kisses.